welcome to another wonderful educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Today is a very special video. Don't you love when I say that? But really it is, okay? Today is kind of a cool video because we're going to show you how to print some hats on a textile rotary screen printing press using a cap attachment and a very small screen. Okay, and this happens to be a very cool little print job to do because this, or I should say these hats, are for the band Predecessor, which many of you may or may not know, I'm not sure yet, but they provide some background music for us here at Catspit Productions. And it's very cool metal music. They give us the instrumental tracks to use, and it's very cool. So today we wanted to share hat printing with you since Predecessor wanted to get some hats printed. Okay, we wanted to share this with you, share a little bit of hat printing with you, and share a little bit of Predecessor with you. This is a strange looking little device in that it uses a little miniature screen here, little metal screen with a piece of fabric stretched on it. Okay, and it comes, obviously different mesh counts. We can get that in. All right, and then we have a frame assembly which goes into the print clamp, a rear clamp, bites in like a screen would. Okay, and then of course we have this little attachment which goes onto the pallet arm and has a little tongue. Okay, so these are cap printing attachments, or baseball cap or hat printing attachments for the Ranar series presses. Okay, so I know that this little system will fit on any of the Ranar Vista or Elite rear clamp presses. All right, so that's what this is. Because of the uneven coating of emulsion that occurs because we don't have a scoop coater to do these little mini screens, the ability to burn fine detail like this screen, as you can see, had a lot of fine lines and things. It becomes difficult because what happens is you have varying degrees of emulsion volume. So in some areas the emulsion is fully exposed and in others it's not, so it can be difficult. So when you're coating these, you want to make sure that your coat is as smooth and even as possible so that you don't have any problems with fine detail. If you're doing wide open spot colors, you'll probably be fine. There are two little clamps on the bottom, and I can't really, it's hard to show you all this stuff, but there's two little bite bars and wing nuts on each side. It's a bite bar and two wing nuts. Okay, so it has a little lip that this screen will slide into. Okay, and I can't see the side because of what I'm doing here for the video, so I can't see what's going on. There we go. Okay, so there we go. We got it in there, and we want to make sure that it's inside the frame. And at this point, all we're going to do is push this up, and hopefully, I don't know, it's pretty loose, so we're going to see how this works out. But basically, we're pushing this up, and we're going to tighten the wing nuts that are on the bottom. This screen looks like it's as loose as my t-shirt. So I don't know how that's going to print. That's going to roll a little bit when we print. So, you know, this is one of the reasons why in the past, honestly, I never used this type of system before. I've always used a regular 20 by 24 screen with a cap palette, but that was very challenging because you have to bend the bill down. So this is a very appealing system to me because, as you'll see, the bill is going to sit up right here. I would say that this system is probably not going to be the easiest to use for a beginner because of the screen making is going to be, you know, a little bit tricky. Okay, and then we got to see what's going to happen on press. All right, so I got the screen in here. Now what we have to do is we have to tape this off on the inside here. Okay, because all the ink and the little squeegee has to go in here. This cap printing attachment that I'm showing you today, made by Ranar for the Ranar presses, okay, which is very similar to other cap attachments. I will approve it for foam hats only. That's about all I think you can really print with this easily. Okay, otherwise other hats may be a little bit more of a challenge. Okay, so now I didn't get it down far enough. Let's get it on there. Grab this dome. Oops. Try to get it on there. Are we centered? No. Okay. So this is not an easy loading thing. Okay, hold on. There we go. Let's see. All right, that should work. I'm not quite sure if it's perfectly 100% centered, but let's see how it's going to print. Okay. So now what I got to do, or what I have to do, is I brought this screen down, and I'm going to put pressure on it, decent pressure to get this down on the cap. And I'm only going to pull this way. I'm going to do a couple of passes to make sure that it fills in the knit, so to speak. All right, and then we're going to lift it up gently. Try to let it pull as much ink through as possible. And it looks pretty good. Not bad at all. And what you can do, you have to be careful. This little part here I'm doing, you have to be really careful. I'm going to flash it, so to speak. You know, this design has such thin lines that, you know, it's just, it kind of needs this. If you do it too much, it could possibly shrink the design and make it misprint. So let's see if we did okay. We're going to just set it down the same way, put a little pressure back on it, and now this time hopefully we'll get what we want. I'll do just that much, and let's see. And I might have to work on, no, that's it. I like it. I was worried about this portion over here. Okay, but it looks good. That's a great print. That looks really cool. All right, so that's a winner. And all right, you want to try another one? How do you get these off without ruining them, right? Like this. Okay, so obviously this is something that you'd have to get used to. It's not going to be very fast your first time. Or maybe ever. I don't know. You know. What I would suggest, honestly, to your customers, you know, this is my honest opinion about screen printed hats. I'll tell you the truth, okay? Because like I said, I'm an honest guy and no holds barred. I tell the truth. The deal is I don't think hats should be screen printed all that much. These foam trucker hats are fine. But, you know, if you want a hat to look really good and you want it to be classy and tasteful, you know, you embroider it. And then you can do a 5-panel hat or you can do a 6-panel hat, and it doesn't matter. And you can do any quality hat pretty much you want that you can embroider. And that's the kind of hat you should do for something that you're serious about. This type of hat that we're doing today, I would suggest for freebies, you know, possibly, or a very inexpensive hat to sell for branding. Okay, so we're ready to try again. Set it down. I'm going to put a little bit of pressure. do a couple of strokes here to get it, make sure we've got any kind of texture filled on the surface of the hat. The last one I'll try to leave a little ink in there. It's hard to do that, but then let it lift up slowly to pull the ink out. You can see the screen is very loose, very sketchy, but you know, okay, so they are good. We'll flash it really quick. Again, you got to be careful because this could, you know, too much and it will melt or burn or shrink it. And you can just tap it and see. All you need it to do is to be tacky enough to take a little bit more ink. Okay, so we'll roll with that. We'll bring it back down. Hopefully I got it all flash cured from side to side. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. Was that a homer right there? I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. A little bit. Okay, so let's see, that's it. If you do it too much, it'll flood in all these little details we have. This is kind of a very challenging, does that make sense? It actually is a very challenging design to print, and I'll show you close-ups of the prints here. That one came out good too. Okay, so we'll take it off. All right, and we'll do one more real quick here, hopefully, for you. We've got good tack. Tack is very important. Critical. Pull this little lip out, hook it up here, make sure you're centered, bring the brim down far enough so you don't have to reset it like I did before. And I'm having a hard time with my dome here. There we go. You want to try to tuck this dome over the top here and then get this guy to stay on there. Push it down, nice. Don't have any junk on there when you print it. Okay, nice like this, pushy pushy, flatten out, and one more hat. Okay, again we're gonna put a little pressure. That is funny, isn't it, how the screen is all loose as my t-shirt. 2, see, you wouldn't think that would work, right, but it does. 3, all right, let's see, how about that? We'll try that. Let's see what that looks like. Lift it up. Not too bad. Not too bad. Actually, could have took a little more probably in here. So we're going to roll with it though. All right, and I'll try to fill that in right now. Do a little test, good. Down, give it the pressure I want. Get some ink in here. Now I'm going to give my stroke a little more pressure to try to fill in some of those areas I didn't get the first time. And the more I work this design, the more it will bleed together. So I have to be careful of that. In order to cure these little bad boys, you're going to have to get a little creative. So I often use the paper or cardboard that's inside the dome of the cap when you buy them to fold and hold up the brim so that we can point the printed area towards the infrared panel. And these foam, polyester foam trucker caps will cure very quickly, so you're going to run them a lot faster than you would a t-shirt. And not only that, they cure quickly, but they also will melt and burn quickly. So if the brim or the dome gets near the infrared panel too much or gets too close, it's going to melt it and burn it possibly through. So, you know, in a way that'll ruin the shell. Okay, so remember, you're going to have to open your dam on the front and rear of your oven, and you're also going to have to raise the heating element to make sure that you have proper clearance for the hats in this particular position. Here's my summary review of the Ranar baseball cap or hat attachment for the Ranar presses. I think it has potential. The system has potential. It's not perfect. So I will approve it for any foam hat. Okay? Any hat that has a foam front, foam panel, one panel, cushy, plush, pushy, flushy, pushy foam. Okay? Any type of foam hat, this thing will print easily. For any other type of hat, you're going to have to test and be sure that you can print it. The stiffer and less flexible the hat is, the less likely you're going to be able to print it with this particular cap attachment printing system. Okay, so it can only get the CATSPIT seal of approval for foam hats. Any other type of hat, I would recommend possibly embroidering. Okay, so that's what it is. And let's recap a couple of things that I was also reminded is don't forget to check not only the artwork size for the screen and for the palette, but be aware that the more detailed, finer designs, that when you shrink them down, there's a lot of issues with bringing a design down to the small size of a baseball cap design or even a crest print over the heart. It's always important to remember that when you shrink stuff down, even in vector art, fluky, weird things can happen, and not only that, it closes in the details and makes it much more difficult to expose the screen, to hold your detail while you're printing, and all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you keep that in mind when you're doing any kind of hat screen printing. Okay, so I think that's it for today. That's it. Very cool. I had fun doing this. It was a little bit of a challenge to figure out the ins and outs of this particular cap printing system, but it gets CATSPIT approved for foam hats. Any other hats, I would recommend embroidering. Okay, so that's it for today. I'm going to end the video with some cool footage from Predecessor. So check it out.